Welcome to another Coal and Energy Transition Day. I'm not counting, but we've done a few of these. And we are doing another one because I think it continues to be an extremely relevant topic for us to be discussing in South Africa. I remember starting off reluctantly with a coal day. We basically had a coal day because coal miners are special, unique people. You need to put them on their own platform. We could not have too much of them at our other platforms, Don't mix with coal miners. But then obviously coal and coal mining is where our roots are as this conference. But clearly coal is such a critical part of our energy in this country that the coal conversation, for it to be had properly, needs to be held in the context of energy. And that opens up all the issues around energy transition and so on. And so you could see from the program that, yes, it's the Coal and Energy Transition Day, and I'm pretty sure next year it's the energy transition conversation, and coal continues to be a part of it. That's just the journey that we as a country and as an industry and as coal is on. So welcome to everybody. I want to welcome our in-person audience, our online audience. We came back from, I think 4 weeks ago, we had a London Ndlovu, and I had to remind the people in London that, unlike in London, when we start at 8:45 in South Africa, people are actually in the room at 8:45. I mean, those Londoners have picked up some bad habits, which they blame us Africans for. You start a conference with yourself, and then a few people join, and then more people join, and somewhere the venue's crowded. I'm disappointed in my coal audience. For a sold-out venue, people must be stuck in traffic. And remember how we transferred the traffic excuse to Cape Town? Those people that run away from Joburg and live in Cape Town, they've taken the traffic with them. So no more Cape Town, no more Joburg traffic excuses. We have a fantastic online presence as well. So we speak to a couple of hundred people. And we speak to the right couple of hundred people. I want to thank our sponsors, the event sponsors, but also our industry partners, which is really why our model works. We've got long-term partnerships with most of the mining companies in South Africa. And that's why we can do this and do it the way we do it. And I think it's an integral part of our sort of success in our 11th or 12 years. There are paying delegates, and obviously, thank you for that, and we really appreciate that. And the one thing we do different is we have never, ever, and will never, ever pay a speaker to participate. So every single person who contributes have made the decision that this is a conversation to be worth being part of. And I truly appreciate that. We get valuable time and insights from absolute industry leaders. I want to do the thing I always forget, and that is to thank Paula and the team, Resources for Africa, do all of these conferences, not only this one. Paula, you should be legendary in the mining industry. We don't really induct women into the Hall of Fame, it's an all-male club, but I'm sure one day we'll make an exception and think about that. Now, the journey of Resources for Africa, I think, is a fantastic story on the one hand of Paula and entrepreneurial spirit, but on the other hand, rendering a service which the time was right for. And so this platform just really continues to serve, I think, a fantastic purpose. So why coal and energy transition? I mean, in the last few years, this has been a highly contested space. I am not going to ask, but I suspect there are still people in this audience who actually don't think renewables make sense. I'm scared to say. I think there are still some true coal dinosaurs who don't think this renewable energy make sense at all. Similarly, I have no doubt there are some renewable energy lobbyists and service providers who would wish us to just stop burning coal tomorrow. And between those two extremes sit the reality of what the country needs right now. And this is why I like the program and how we will be dealing with this. In this today, I have no doubt that we're going to be confronted with the steps we are taking towards a more flexible, diverse energy system. It's exposing some serious problems and weaknesses. This is not, the system we have was not built for this. And we see how this plays out with where the sun shines is not where the grid is. And so I think the narrow conversation of another window or another coal plant has to be had in the context of where we really are as a country. What is our infrastructure? What's our grid? And how do we address all of those things? Looking forward to it. As you can see, I always influence the program in the way where, what is it that I would want to know more of? What is it that I would want to learn about? And then we invite experts to come and teach us all. So, a topic that I read a lot about, because as a retired old man, I've got lots of time, is the whole broad concept of a just energy transition. I don't even think we agree on what it means. Is it just to the current coal worker? Is it just to the worker at Medupi Power Station? Is it just to the person in Soweto who wants affordable and sustainable power? What does it mean? And I think we need to unpack that in the way we South Africans do, by disagreeing violently and then talking until we agree, and then we create this GNU. When I grew up, a GNU was a wildebeest. Now we can decide, is it the wild part that we're going for, the beast part? Now beast can also be translated as cow. So is it the wild part or is it the cow part? Which of this GNU are we pursuing? That in its own right is changing our lives and the way in which we operate. So I'm very keen to shut up, mostly because Paula refuses to pay me per word, like the journalist. And so I really don't get incentivized to talk as much nonsense as I talk. I just do it because there's time to fill. I'm so keen for the conversation to start. I have to quickly introduce you to our platform. I'm getting so bored with it. I'm sure all of you have done this. So please look at the seat. Perhaps you sit on it. Perhaps next to you is a little something, QR code, I think they call it. I've done this 25 times, so I'm truly bored with it. You point your camera at it. It gives you an active link. You click on the link. It takes you through to the platform, Slido. When you go to Slido, you open on a page that says 2024 Coal and Energy Transition Day. It should be on Q&A. This is very important because this is where this audience, the online audience, interacts at the same platform. If there's a conversation or a speaker, you would like a question put to them, you have to type it in there. It serves a whole host of purposes. It's where we bring it all together. Most of us type very slowly with our thumbs, so we tend to think about the question before we put it forward. It doesn't afford you the opportunity to share with the audience how smart you are, where you did your MBA, how well you did in grade 7 mathematics. It focuses you on putting a question, which is what the platform is there for. You'll never hold a microphone, so this is how you interact with that. It all comes to the front, and I get to put the questions to the speaker. In order for me to have the question before the end of the session, you have to send the question before the end of the session. I say this, you all laugh, and I promise you I get at least half of the questions just after the session ended. Very useful. If one day I publish a book of 1 million stupid questions, it will go to the book. I'm not really going to publish the book, so get them to me in time. Okay, so this is the platform. Now, at the same time, if you flick over from there to polls, you click on polls, we will from time to time ask the audience, not for your collective wisdom, but for your views. If you had wisdom, remember, you would be on my side of the table, so you sit on that side of the table. So we don't want your wisdom, just your views. And then we will perhaps, when a speaker says something very wild or potentially controversial, we'll check in with the audience. We'll call it the BS barometer. BS stands for Bernard Swanepoel. I know you all thought it stood for bullshit, but the BS barometer is just a check-in. July Ndlovu continues to claim that coal is beautiful and carbon capture will work. Do you agree, yes or no? You see, a typical bullshit barometer question. July, you ready for that question? So we'll do that from time to time. To our speakers, bring your thick skin. Don't get offended. It's just keep the audience alive and awake. So let's do a poll or two together. So please go back if you've been kicked out. Go back to the polls, and let's have our first poll question. I'm waiting for it to show up on mine. This is normally where I shout at the technical team at the back for the first time. Is anybody seeing it yet? Are we still waking up the back? Okay, so a question to the audience, online and in person. When will the last coal power station in South Africa be closed? Before 2030, before 2040, or after 2040? Not necessarily when you would love it to be closed or whatever, when you think it will be closed. You can see we've got about 80 people awake, which is not bad. It's 30% of the audience. We're getting there. I think this audience realize we can say a lot of things about coal, and we ain't going to wish it away. It's just not going to disappear in the next 3 months, 6 months, 3 years, 5 years, the term of the 7th administration. And I think it becomes very important, if there's an acknowledgement that coal is around for a long time, that we therefore deal with it like it's going to be around for a long time. You cannot actually continue to run a business with 3-year environmental exemptions if you're going to be around for 30 years, for example. So there's so many implications to this view that coal may be around for a long time. It's also good to have some other people in the room, because I'm pretty sure if this was a coal audience only, the answers would have been very different. I'm going to give you an example of a simple yes or no question. The next question, please. The next question I'm going to ask you, is rebranding a coal company as an energy company just cynical greenwashing? I don't know why Mike Teke blushes, but I mean, this is not aimed at Seriti only. This is aimed at BP, Shell, and every other company. So, I mean, is there substance to this? We are more than just a coal company. So, yes or no? Yes, and I'm losing a few friends. Remember, I voted no here. I just want to say, Mike, I mean, this is, my vote is my secret until I want to tell you, I voted no. Of course not. It's not so. So it takes a little bit more than a name change or a new logo or a different statement to convince the world that, energy is really what we are, and not, say, coal or oil. Remember, the oil company started this. Okay, so sort of almost 2/3 of the audience is a little bit cynical about that simple statement. The final question, because we have to bash the government. I mean, if we don't bash the government, then I don't get a phone call tonight. My wife hates these phone calls I get from ministers after a conference. But they can't kick me out of the country because I don't have another passport. So they hate me, but they tolerate me. A serious question, though. I know you all thought it was Jacob Zuma who was in the pocket of the Russians. Then we badmouthed Gwede Mantashe for nuclear, and now the superhero of the world is also talking nuclear. So my question is, would you ever trust the South African government to procure a nuclear plant in the future? Oh, come on, guys, we can do better than that. I don't want to have a casting vote. I mean, really, I'm getting a call from the new minister of whatever, electric wires and, press releases. I mean, I don't want that. It's the only person I haven't offended yet. So, we're going to talk about energy and transition and different sources, and we bring issues. But we don't trust the procurement system or whatever. And this is why this is a fantastic topic. I don't even have to stir. I can just put people on the platform and let them speak, and we see it is not as simple. It is very simple when you sit and you lobby. It's not simple when you actually are one of many contestants in this space. So I've used up the time, which was my main purpose. I am extremely happy to ask our first speaker. He is one of those disgusting people who became a billionaire of mining coal. He's the ugly face of coal, I've called him, but then he rebranded the World Coal Association to be, a beautiful name now, Future Coal. He's the CEO of one very successful listed coal company. He's a proud coal miner. And whether he speaks on behalf of the coal industry or on behalf of Thungela, on behalf of coal mining in South Africa, absolutely the correct and the right person to kick us off. July, please come and speak to us. Thank you very much.